So I'm having a lot of fun with the Adventures of the Horrible Four, and I hope you are too. But my hope is also that they won't be the only thing to happen on this channel. So here is just some of the stuff I hope to add over time. First and foremost, let's talk about RPGs that I want to play. This book is something I really want to try. Tom Scott wrote this book called DM Yourself, and it has rules for how to run pre-written adventure modules for just one person. I haven't read through it yet, but from what I have read, it is very, very cool. It's primarily written for 5th edition, which I'm not terribly fond of, but he does also add information for OSR games. So we're going to see how this goes. We're going to run some cool stuff. Like, if the Horrible Four gets strong enough, I really want to take them through original Ravenloft. Like, that would be something else. So, besides that, another RPG I really want to play was Merkborg. I knew I loved this the moment I saw it. Merkborg is quite literally the heavy metal of RPGs. A lot of its design is inspired by black metal and doom metal, and I mean, just you will be hard pressed to find a page in this book that does not look like an album cover. Look at all this beautiful, beautiful book. Something else it has that I really love: random tables. So many random tables. I'm excited to run this one. I've got a character specifically in mind, and it's going to be great. Next up, I've been reading a lot of Algernon Blackwood and H.P. Lovecraft, and these guys had a way of writing that I really, really like, and they've translated it into an RPG. This Joseph Salvador has written a really, really sweet book here, and it's captured all of the Lovecraftian beats and translated it into a white box type game. And I love white box. It was such an easy to run system, and this is no different. This is just as easy to run, just as pick up and play. It's got a few different things in it that makes it a little, I want to say a little bit more complicated, but not by a lot. So this is going to be really fun. Next up, I want to run a non-Gygaxian RPG called Warlock. Warlock is really, really great. It's an old British type RPG, and it's non-Gygaxian in that it focuses on more skills that you have that are somewhat randomly generated, rather than you being an elf or a dwarf or some other class like a magic user. Anybody can learn to use magic, and anybody can do it wearing armor. It's just a matter of, do you have the adventuring skill, and can you improve it? And this is determined by several rolls of the dice. You can kind of choose from there. I won't elaborate quite yet, because I want to be able to run it. This is very, very cool. And the 2 compendiums that go with this are absolutely marvelous. I love them. So lastly, on the RPG side of things, comes a retro clone of the rules cyclopedia, Dark Dungeons. Like the Jack Chick comics. In fact, there's references to the Jack Chick comics in this. It's really, really great. But Dark Dungeons is it's more complicated than the other retro clones I'm running, but the complication also lends itself to just a very satisfying feel. I played this with my wife a couple of times. We were kind of randomizing our own adventure, and just the way that it's written, it's just very smooth to run. I can't quite put it into words, but you'll see when we start running it. And most other stuff is also compatible with this. So if we wanted to take some Labyrinth Lord classes and put them in here, maybe I should just run this on its own. I'm very, very excited to run that. So these are all things that I'm wanting to do on the channel. Furthermore, you may notice that I like to have models of the characters and stuff that I am playing with. and I also really like to collect these models for tabletop wargaming. I like tabletop wargaming quite a bit. I haven't got a chance to play a lot, but it's a great experience. The hobby is a little bit expensive, a lot expensive, especially in the model side of things, but we've been able to solve the expensiveness of the rule books by using one-page rules. So this is for my Chaos Army, my Iron Warriors themed Havoc Brothers from the one-page rules Grim Dark Future. You should check that out. Maybe I'll put that in the description. It is really great if you want to break into wargaming and you want to use the models, but you don't necessarily want to buy a bunch of very expensive rule books to go along with it. There's lore there, but you can easily just use any Warhammer 40k lore that you want. So we're going to have some wargaming. I've got some family and friends that are building armies, and I hope to have them on the channel as well. It's including my wife and my dad, actually. So that's going to be pretty fun. I don't buy cards anymore, but I do like playing Magic the Gathering. I've played Magic the Gathering for going on 10 years now, and this is a deck that I've kind of constructed to kind of leave the game with. This is my 8-rack deck. I love mono black discard, and I do have proxies in here. Not very many, but I do have proxies. Like Chains of Mephistopheles, I got 2 proxies of that just because it's a $700 card. And then I've got a pretty good proxy of a Mox Jet somewhere in here. But I hope to have some content of this on the channel as well. This is going to be kind of harder to play alone, but I do have friends who have decks as well. I have a couple of guys I work with who I'm sure would love to show their decks off on the channel. Speaking of playing alone, going back to tabletop wargaming, there are actually rules within the one-page rules that allow for an army to be controlled by kind of an AI, or like they're like an NPC army, and I'll show you how that works when we get there. Lastly, I want to play Pokemon. I have an emulator on my phone, and I plan on just recording myself playing that. I don't know how much commentary is going to be on there, or if I'm just going to put on some relaxing music in the background and let that go. But I do plan to play some Pokemon, either on days where I'm not really feeling up to hobbying, or just to fill out some more content on the channel. So, all that being said, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking a look at my content. I know it's not the most professional, but it's something I've wanted to do for a while, and it makes me happy to get to do it. So I will see you in the next episode of the Horrible Four, where we ascend the stairs and we look for whatever her name is. I'll remember when I watch back. But I'll see you next time.